Hello everyone, welcome back to North Texas Jeep Renegades. My name is Andy. Today we're going to be installing the Modern Performance chrome headers on a 2.4 liter Tigershark. These are going to be going on Athena, and we're going to walk you through on how to install them. We've already heat wrapped the headers. We're going to get them installed and show you what to do. Alright, so first off we're going to start by raising the hood on the Jeep, and we're going to take off your engine cover. It's just a plastic cover. It's only one 10mm bolt that's right back here. You're going to take that off, and that'll just give us access to the nuts that hold on your heat shield and to all the bolts we need for your header. So after you take that bolt off, it has two pops. You pop that off, you get a here, actually three. And then that's it. You just pop it off and it'll give you access to all the 10mm you need to get to your heat shield. You got three on top and a couple down here at the bottoms. All right, after you get all of your nuts off of the heat shield, you're going to want to unhook the wire for your upper O2 sensor, your bank 1 O2 sensor. It's going to be a clip right down here. The button for the clip is actually on the bottom side of it. You just press it in and pull it out. And it's just a press-in clip, nothing special. After that, you're just gonna lift up from the bottom on this and pull your heat shield right off. All right, once you get your heat shield off, you're gonna wanna go ahead and take out your O2 sensor once in the car, just for a little bit extra support. We do recommend a O2 sensor socket. The socket will have a little groove in it that your wire can fit through. Put it on there and take it off like you would anything else.
Alright guys, so because we are going to be using, or we're going to be removing the exhaust flange or the manifold bolts, it's a good idea to put some penetrating lubricant on these bolts, because even though the car isn't that old, these things tend to seize up. So like I said, a good thing to have is this PB Blast, and you're just going to put them right onto the bolts themselves, kind of let them soak in it for a little bit. It'll help you guys out a lot when it comes to removing these bolts, and it'll also help not shear them or strip them as you're removing them. All right, you guys, so we're going to go ahead and take this skid plate off, because we're going to need access to this downpipe and all that good stuff. So what you're going to need is just a 13mm, and you're also going to need a 10mm. Now, because something weird happened to my skid plate, we're not going to go into any details, but essentially my wife crashed it, and when we got it back, the nuts that held the skid plate on were gone, so I had to improvise. So I'm going to actually use a 7/16 socket to take these out. So let's go ahead and do that.
All right, once you get your skid plate off, you're going to need to remove your B pipe, and your bolts for that are here. You're going to need to remove the hanger, which is right here, and then you're going to want to remove the clip in the back here. Now, to make this a lot easier, we're actually going to cut out the B pipe. It just makes it a lot easier than trying to twist it all through the subframe here, through the cradle. So we're gonna get started on that, and we'll pick back up. Alrighty, so to make this a little bit easier, I went ahead and cut the hangers. The new header does come with a new hanger. So we got this cut right back here by the rear bracket. Actually, we figured it might be a little easier from there. So now it's just a matter of twisting and pulling it out.
And just like that, the exhaust pipe is out, or I'm sorry, the flex pipe is out.
And then we just got to pull the rest of it right out of there, and we're good to go. All right, so next we're going to be taking off the bolts for the actual header itself from the head. You're going to need a 13mm. It's going to be a series of bolts and nuts. So you can actually have bolts here, and 2 nuts at the top. Don't forget to disconnect your other O2 sensor, which is right here, the connector. Alright, so after you get the header pulled out, make sure you swap over all your O2 sensors to the new unit. Make sure you keep the bank 1 sensor in the bank 1 and the bank 2 sensor in the bank 2. You're more than welcome to install your new header. Just the upper portions, all that's needed for now. Go and start getting all your bolts and nuts just finger tight, and then we'll torque them down here in a few.
The torque spec on that is 25 foot-pounds, and there's a variety of sequences you can go. We just started from the inside out. Again, you can follow that sequence if you like, or do some more research. So last night we kind of ran out of daylight, and so we thought it best to go ahead and finish the install and kind of walk you guys through what we all did, or you know, what all we had to do in order to get this thing on. All right, so now that we're under here, you can kind of get a good idea of the downpipe and the catalytic converter. So the biggest issue we had in this entire install was right here. For whatever reason, it was such a pain in the butt, you guys, to fit this pipe inside of the bead pipe there. I don't know if it was because of the chrome finish or what, but my biggest suggestion, you guys, as far as putting this all on and not having it too complicated, because I was here last night for about 3 hours trying to get this on, is go ahead and loosen up your entire exhaust system. I'm talking about muffler, I'm talking about loosening the nuts on the clamps down in the exhaust pipe. Loosen everything up, take the muffler down, and that way you can kind of play with it. Do all that before you attempt to put this on, because you will need all that play. And essentially what all I did last night in order to help me out, because I could not for the life of me slip this bead pipe into the actual headers or in this collector here. So what I would recommend you guys do is bolt it here first. So on the catalytic converter, you have a bolt or an actual a tab, and what you're going to want to do is bolt that up and then come back here, and before you torque down on the head on the flange, what you're going to want to do is leave these bottom bolts, or essentially the whole bolts, loose. Don't take them all the way out, because you will need that leverage, but what you want is that you know, up and down play in the headers, or in the exhaust flange. And what you're going to want to do is loosen all the ones on top, loosen the header bolts on top, come down here, bolt this up, snug it up, and then what you're going to want to do is create tension here. And I know it sounds like a really bad idea, but we just could not figure out another way to do this. So you want to create tension here, and what you'll want to do is, and this is going to be the exhausting part, is you're going to want to start to torque down on the bottom bolts as well as the top bolts, but primarily you're going to want to start torquing down the bottom ones, because what's going to happen is as you're torquing down those bottom bolts, the more you push on that flange, the more tension you'll have down here. And what you'll want to do is hit this side here specifically, okay? Hit this side with the rubber hammer, and I would suggest a rubber hammer. We had a mallet, a rubber mallet, and that way you don't actually damage your collector pipe here. But what you'll want to do is hit it in this direction here, towards, or yeah, hit it towards the transmission side, and slowly but surely this thing's going to start pushing itself in. Remember, you do have to have this bolted, otherwise this method will not work. So once that, you know, once you continue to hit it, you're going to have to come back up here, because it's going to come a point where you just can't do that anymore. It won't go in, it won't seat further in. You're going to have to come back up here and torque them down, and then keep doing that until the entire collector pipe fully goes and inserts into the B pipe, or into the catalytic converter pipe. That was the biggest and most time-consuming part of this entire install for us. Everything else for the most part, it was super simple, you guys. You have your, here, let me see if I can show you. You have your flex pipe here, and I don't know if you can see it. All right, you guys, and what you don't want is, you don't want the exhaust pipe hitting anything. It's just tiny details like that. Take your time. And again, you're gonna wanna loosen up every clamp in the exhaust pipe all the way back to your muffler. Drop the muffler just to make sure that you have enough wiggle room with everything. All right, you guys, so this is what I'm talking about as far as, I'm gonna go ahead and point out what you should loosen up and remove. So this is the muffler right here. You're gonna wanna take this bolt completely off so that way the entire exhaust can hang down. You can also do the whole hanger. You can unhook it from the hanger, but it was so much easier for me to just unbolt it. And this, there's a bolt on this side and there's a bolt on the driver's side. And after that, you're just gonna want to, let me get under here. You're gonna want to loosen up that nut right there and just kind of get some play in there, and then loosen up the one that's in front of the resonator. And that's pretty much it. You're just gonna wanna do all that. That's gonna make the install process so much easier. All right, you guys, remember to, before you start the engine, to go ahead and reconnect all your connectors. The extension goes to the bank 2 O2 sensor. So that O2 sensor is right down by the catalytic converter. It was a struggle for me to, I don't know if you can see it. It was a struggle for me to insert this connector back into its original spot, just because it was just an awkward position, but it will insert. So just make sure everything's lined up and give it a good push. There's two of them. Bank 1 is right here, and that goes straight to your, and that bolts straight to the headers themselves or the collector pipe. So just remember what connector is what. It's really hard to mess this part up because they're two different colors and two different styles of connectors. So just make sure that you reconnect everything, recheck everything, retorque everything if you need to. All right, guys, because I know some of you are going to be wondering what this sounds like on a cold start, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm not a fan of how that sounds like. It's one thing I'm gonna have to live with. But anyway, I'm loving this so far. I've gone on a test drive. You can definitely feel that pickup. You can definitely feel more power in the RPMs. I would say it was a good buy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Alan with NTJR. Please like and subscribe. We'll be doing a rig walk around video of Athena here in the near future, so stay tuned for that. Peace.